Hello again in the Americana Bistro Grill. We're coming back again. We've been temporarily interrupted, but we're coming back to the interview with Tim and Linda Hegwood. Bienvenidos al noticiero RCAG. Estamos regresando a la segunda parte de nuestra entrevista. Queremos agradecer a Mónica del Mensaje de Comunicación, Sabrina Fala, Freedom Films, Puerto Rico, Jaime Charca Films y también otro más. Estamos tratando de regresar un momentico. Vamos a seguir, vamos a volver. Aquí no hay espectadores. No me están ayudando a la situación. Déjame ver. Por favor. Ok, ya envié una invitación a Linda Hegwood. Ahora vamos a regresar a la segunda vez. Ok, ya estamos de vuelta con Linda Hegwood y Tim Hegwood. Si es que regresa, por favor regresa. Ok, Tim, Linda, are you still with me?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry that I had to cut you off. Is that I saw the hourglass on Instagram and they told me to cut off. I didn't want to get cut off, so I cut off and published the first part in Instagram Live. All that I'm doing now is I'm filming everything, and since Instagram leaves everything in 24 hours, I'm making my own copy to place in the YouTube and also place in other mediums such as BitChute and Bitreon, and just so that others could see it, and also in case there's some disappearing acts. I make about 6, 7, or 8 copies of all of my interviews in case one of them decides to be disappeared by some people. But I will continue. Sorry to interrupt you. Continue what you were saying about you left off with Linda and the tears.
So Linda the nurse and I were telling her the story, and the nurse is telling her this is what's going to occur, and here's the plan moving forward. And the tear in her eye was coming down her cheek. And the Holy Spirit prompted me, and he says, just grab her hand. And I grabbed her hand, and I watched this tear go back up her eye and went into her eye, and she's never cried about death or cancer or anything since. The peace was so strong on me. Like I was saying, I became so Jesus-like. I went back out in the waiting room, and by that time, family and friends and all these people are starting to show up. And I said, this is the way we're going to do it. We're going to do it this way. We're going to take you back. If Linda gets tired, we're all going to leave and let her rest. And we started bringing a person back one at a time, and we sat with Linda. Well, before you know it, we have the nurses bringing chairs. I mean, we're in the recovery room, right? We're in the PACU trying to get through recovery. And we have like, I don't know how many, like 10 chairs in this little cubbyhole room. And we're telling stories and we're laughing. And that faith is what you hear in Linda's testimony. So Linda comes out, and that faith is transferred. So the faith from her friend that prayed for her, that saw Jesus put her on the table, our faith. This is why I'm saying the caregiver, not the health caregiver, they're we understand their importance. What we don't understand is we don't really understand the importance of the home caregiver, that spouse, that daughter, that sister, that whatever. I will tell you this, and this is Linda's, but I'm going to tell my part of the story. I believe, Roberto, the greatest caregiver that Linda had, me included, was at that time our 7-year-old niece. And Linda started out trying to protect her, like, will she understand? She walked into the recovery room and she saw the tubes and things coming out of Linda. She's like, like this grimace on her face, and she doesn't like them. So when we came home, Linda was trying to say, it's going to be okay, but she didn't want to shock her. Linda had the chemotherapy, so she had lost her hair, so she had a wig. So she's asking Ella, as our niece, she said, well, do you want TT to show you? TT's hair is falling out. She has no hair. Do you want me to show you? So she says yes. So Linda has her sitting on the vanity, and Linda's doing her wig and doing her makeup and stuff. So she starts to pull back the wig a little bit. She says, now if you feel bothered, let me know and I'll stop and we'll put it on when we're done. So she pulls it all the way back. And Ella looks at her and she pauses, and Linda doesn't know what she's going to say. And she reaches up to Linda. I could never get away with this, by the way. She reaches up to Linda, and the little hairs from the chemotherapy had started to come back out. And she pats it on top of her head like this, and she says, ooh, it's like a fuzzy little bird. And Linda just laughed. So the innocence of the child, the realness, the truth, the just openness, invite your children in. They will heal you in a way that you could never imagine. They just work with them. They will understand. They are so resilient. Children are more resilient than adults ever thought about being. They have that faith. They can believe everything. We're going to make it. We're going to do it. We're going to be all right. And that's what Ella was to Linda. So Linda had her sister, had me, had her mom, had the doctors, had friends, dad. But this little girl was an instrument of God to heal Linda and heal us and bring light to us.
I'm glad. There's like you said, the ones who are small are the ones who have the faith. We have to nurture that faith. I'm glad that she was able to help with Linda. Before leaving and everything and thanking you, I also wanted to add another thing. While I was going off the air and getting back on the air, some of my nurse colleagues and nurse friends have already told me that I had forgotten about them. In medicine, there's another thing. Not only do you have to thank the healthcare workers, such as the physicians and nurses and pharmacists and everything else. We learned in medical school. I learned it from Maria. Maria is also a nurse. She also told me about it too. Nurses are very powerful people in the hospital.
Absolutely.
It is not the physician. The physician may know everything and do the prescriptions, but the real big power behind the thrones in all hospitals are nurses. They're the ones who not only do the orders, but they're the ones who are right there with the patients. And all of my nurse friends, including the ones who have worked with me in the past in the United States, in the Dominican Republic. Plus, I want to mention some of the nurses that I knew that are the people who studied with me in the American School of Venezuela and are now nurses too, that have already told me. I want to thank you, nurses, for coming to visit my program. Quiero agradecer a las enfermeras por visitar mi programa y dame todo el apoyo cuando estoy en Expolit. Thank you, nurses, for also supporting me in Expolit. I have not forgotten you. I was going to leave a special part for you too. Thank you. I already said my part to the nurses. I do want to thank you too for coming and sharing your testimony. And I would have wanted to do this in Expolit, but situations beyond our control couldn't do it. That's why I've been doing these.
Yeah.
I also used to do Viernes Social. My Viernes Social with Marilia was going out to eat, have a supper, maybe in Cracker Barrel, maybe in La Carreta, which is a Cuban restaurant here, or any other restaurants, and then go to Alpha and Omega to work the cameras. I go to Alpha and Omega on Friday nights, and on Sunday I go to Capi del Rey. But Alpha and Omega go to the cameras and also to hear the word of the Lord. But given the way things are, and the fact that we've not had a curfew, I've been doing these Friday night programs, interviewing everyone. Not only for me, I'm just someone who's doing this. Also the artists, especially those who minister towards Christ, so that they get their message across and that they don't lose the people who have followed them. Especially you, Linda, and especially you, Tim, because you have a great ministry. I want to thank both of you for coming and sharing your testimony. También quiero agradecerte, Linda, por tu testimonio y por todo. So, for those, I'm going to be saying my goodbyes to everyone here in English and in Spanish, and then I'll be saying goodbye to both of you as well. For me, it was a pleasure and an honor having both of you, and for me, for all of our viewers all around the world. I want to thank you for spending time with us and listening to Linda and Tim's testimony and their ministry. It was a great experience hearing both of you, and a pleasure and an honor. And in the words of the Americana Bistro Grill, may God bless you, and peace in, peace out, and peace everywhere. And please, in today's day and age, well, even in peace and not in peace, we must find unity, but find unity under God. Para mi público de hispanoparlante en América Latina, España, las Filipinas, y también quiero incluir el país africano de Guinea Ecuatorial. Guinea Ecuatorial es el único país de África donde el idioma oficial es en español. Y es que ellos fueron una colonia española en una época. También me acordé algo. Mi público en Asia que también habla en español, como en China, Vietnam, y quiero también incluir mi público en el llamado Marruecos, que Marruecos también es otro país, es un país árabe, pero también Marruecos tiene 3 idiomas oficiales: francés, árabe y español, que me están oyendo. Yo espero que también esto te sirve como inspiración para buscar un camino hacia el Señor, si no lo has buscado. No solo de América Latina y España, que sí necesitan el camino, sino también Guinea Ecuatorial, Filipinas, China, Vietnam, Marruecos, todos los países hispanoparlantes fuera del continente americano y España. Quiero agradecer a Linda, quiero agradecer a Tim por su visita, que para mí fue un placer y honor escucharte. Y también mis mejores deseos en los éxitos hoy y siempre, y que Dios te bendiga. Y hasta la próxima. Y también para mi público en el mundo, que Dios te bendiga y hasta la próxima, sea a la disposición del Señor. Ahora voy a despedir aparte a esta bella pareja.